and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Outdoors People with me, C.W. Getz, and her, Maya Marzaki. Good evening. It's Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. We've got a 47-degree Fahrenheit, cloudy, typical spring day here in near Chicago. And I have to tell you, though, it's a little windy. It feels colder than 47. It feels probably like 37. That's just me. But that equates to 7 degrees Celsius. Maya, what do you got down?
Whoa.
I know, right? It's a little chilly. That's not 90 like you know, whatever, but you like it. Oh, you don't like it 90. You like it 80 or something, right?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Like my weather is too hot for me, but your weather is like too cold for me as well. So the middle would be just fine.
Why does that sound like the story of the three bears? And what was that? The baby bear.
That's true.
Like
baby the balls, bear. The big one, the small one, right?
Absolutely. So what do you got for a temperature there?
So here is a lovely day with 34 Celsius. And for you guys in the United States, 76 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's a perfect. It's a perfect. It's as your father would say, it's a perfecto. I love it. He would say that, wouldn't he? Because he's Italian.
Oh, yes, for sure. Perfecto.
Perfecto. I love it. I tell you what, the accents and the all the nationalities we got going on this show, I love it. It's just a world affair.
Yes, so lovely.
Yeah. Well, tonight's episode of Outdoors People is brought to you by Rutabaga Paddle Sports, providing time on the water.
By Campground Views, making camping easier.
By Duluth Pack, made in the USA since 1882.
And by Jackson Kayak, pursuing joy through paddle sports.
Tonight's episode is Mountaineering and its intense challenges with our guest, Anne Faerovig. Norwegian mountaineer from Oslo, Norway, Anne Faerovig has a background in classical ballet, a degree in architectural design, and is a certified yoga instructor. The Norwegian full-time mountaineer climbs the biggest mountains on the planet, with her biggest achievement being the K2 summit, which she completed in 2022. Her passion for nature and the challenge of pushing her physical and mental abilities to their limits is what drives Anne to pursue such big goals and planning for other expeditions. Anne's philosophy, dare to dream. And with that, welcome to the show, Anne.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing?
Hi.
I'm good, thank you.
How's your weather in Oslo, Norway?
Well, it just started snowing like crazy. Yeah. So no springtime yet, but hopefully soon.
How much snow are you going to get, did they say? And you don't do inches, you do centimeters.
I haven't checked. I didn't even know it was going to snow, but all of a sudden we have a couple of centimeters. So
oh, wow.
We shall see.
It's measurable. It's measurable. And do you guys have, I'm sure you do, you guys have the big snow plows there like we have here? And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Always on standby.
I used to operate one of those big snow plows. That was what I did for 17 years. So, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what? And the nice thing about it is you get called at 1 o'clock in the morning, and you get to go out and jump in the truck and save the world.
Yeah. We have the same system here. Yeah.
Well, and I'm assuming that people probably drive just the same crazy like they do here, and even when it's snowing, I don't care.
Yeah. We're used to it though, but accidents happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, true.
Take it away, Maya.
So it's a pleasure having you here. So let's start with you telling us how you started mountaineering.
Basically, I started just about a year ago with the big mountains. I think what happened to me was, I think, like for many people during COVID, we spent a lot of time at home and not being able to travel, not being able to do what we want to do, maybe. And for me, it became very clear that I miss nature, I miss travel. So what I ended up doing was just when Nepal opened up after COVID, I jumped on a plane and I went there and I did quite a long trek over a few weeks. It's about 200 kilometers. And then you see some of those big 8,000-meter mountains. And I started to understand that, this is a time for me. I want to start going higher, and that's how it started, really. And then from there, quite quickly, I went on to attempt Aconcagua, which is one of the 7 summits. And from there, it kind of snowballed into higher and higher quite quickly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, in 1 year you did so much. That's very nice. But I feel like mountaineering make you be addictive of doing that, right?
Yeah, for
Non-stop.
sure. I think I think you can try and then you realize it's not for you. You think you might want to do it because it's, you see all beautiful, especially these days online, right? You can see, you follow people and you see all the beauty. But then the other side is that it is actually super hard. And many times, I think most of the time it's hard and not fun. But I think for sure, if you enjoy it, it's kind of a life-changing experience. And I think you just want to do it more and more.
Yeah, for sure. You need to bring love of feel pain, right? Because it's not easy. It's beautiful, but it's not easy. And in your opinion, did your background play a role deciding to try mountaineering?
I think different aspects of my background. On one side, I come from Norway, so I grew up, spending quite a lot of time in nature. We tend to hike a lot here, even when we're little. It's normal to go to the mountains or just in the woods. We ski a lot, right? So I had that background. Which I think I spent, some years abroad, and especially living in New York for a few years made me realize I miss nature. So I think over a few years, it built up to wanting to go back to nature. And I think once I did that, I also started to realize, I wanted more. And I also want to challenge myself more, which I think has also to do a little bit with my background in ballet. I grew up pursuing ballet, classical ballet, and having that physical, training and the challenge for so many years is something I realize I really, really appreciate in mountaineering, that constant challenge. You're always learning, always pushing further.
This is a far cry. Ballet. Let's talk about New York for a second. You got my curiosity. You're in New York City, right? You're living in New York City. You're studying classical ballet.
No, I was doing architecture.
Architecture. Well, okay. Architecture. Well, you were doing ballet there. Were you doing ballet in New York or
no? Before.
Just before that. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're living in the city of New York. First of all, how did you? Did you like it? I obviously didn't love it, or you wouldn't have moved. But did you like it?
No, I loved it.
You did?
I loved it. Yeah.
Really?
But what I didn't love after I was there almost 6 years,
Just going to ask you.
and I think that separation from nature, for me, after a while, I realized. I think you don't know these things sometimes before you're separated from something, right? For
Right.
an extended period of time, and then I think it started, to grow within me that need to have some sort of relation to nature again.
Yeah. I mean, what'd you do one day? Just go, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm going back home. I'm going back to Norway. Is that how did that happen?
It's been a lot of back and forth and doing many different things. But when I moved back to Norway, I think I went hiking almost every day for like half a year.
Wow. Right.
In the beginning, I just realized, it's a big part of me that I didn't have with me for some time, and then really, really needed to have it back.
And you didn't do any ballet in New York whatsoever?
Nope.
Did you miss that?
No. I think when I
She didn't
stopped,
stutter there. She just like, nope, I did not miss
No, yeah. No hesitation. No, I did not.
that. No. Nope.
No, I think always if you pursue something full on, right, for many years, it's hard in the beginning to stop or to change that, right? For whatever reason that it is you stop. But I think, I've always been someone who follows my passions for good and bad.
Right.
And I think then for me at the time, architecture was my passion, and I wanted to pursue this. So then you leave something else behind, right?
Interesting.
So it's always compromise or.
Did you go back to ballet at all? Because I think I like dance. I mean, I think I enjoy dance. I appreciate all kinds of it. But you just said, I'm done.
Yeah, because I did it on the level of going professional.
Oh.
So then I think it's either or, because it's hard after that to do it just for fun, right? Because you won't be at the same level as you were. Yeah.
Interestingly, I did the same thing with the drums, and that's why it's nice to hear your opinion on your craft, your how do I say it? Your profession, your former profession. It's interesting. It does work that way. Once you say I'm done, and I've done it to a certain level, which I did as well. You're done. Yeah, you've explored that road all that you can, and there's nothing new.
You cannot turn back.
So much to do.
Yeah, I would agree.
There's so many things to do. So yeah.
Well, you jumped right into mountaineering all the way. I mean, when you went in, you went big, and right from the beginning. So, I mean, how's that worked out for you? Any regrets there?
No regrets. It's been success and failure, and I think especially in mountaineering that's gonna happen. It's a big part of pursuing especially the big mountains. There are so many factors, right? And actually I didn't summit my first mountain, which was Aconcagua. However, I think that I didn't summit there was a big part of why I was able to summit other mountains after, because instead of having that initial success and celebration, I had to, start looking at why I couldn't do it and really, really learn from this experience.
Yeah.
At the time, it was super hard. And I was at some point doubting, maybe this is not for me, right? Maybe I'm not strong enough. Maybe but then I think having that learning experience was super beneficial.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. Was there, and we're going to ask you some of this stuff later, and I don't want to spoil that, but I'm going to ask you this. Did you ever sit there one night just going exhausted and beat, and it was a really tough day, and then sit there, maybe you got a whiskey in your hand, whatever, and did you say, what the hell was I thinking?
Like every night, right?
Yeah, right.
Every single day.
Every mountain, I have that moment.
Do you?
Yeah.
Love it.
at some point, and then a few hours later or the next day, all you can think about is doing more. So yeah.
And it's probably normal. It probably is normal, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
it is.
for sure.
Yes, it is something so hard that you need to be prepared, physically and mentally, right? Because you are always facing those thoughts like that, like what I'm doing, like I'm so exhausted. But if you keep pursuing yourself like you do, you can learn and you can grow. And I have a question actually about that. So from what I understand, mountaineering is mostly a male-dominated sport. What has your experience been from a female perspective?
Actually, when I started mountaineering, going into the big mountains, I didn't really know that it was this male-dominated. I hadn't really thought about it. However, yes, it is. It is changing though. So more women are going, and that's super fun, I think. I have not seen it as an issue. I haven't seen it as a problem. I think it's just cool that actually it's a sport that women and men are equal. We're equally strong in this setting, and that's just a fun thing. I think it makes for a very good dynamic. Also, say you're in a team and it's mixed, it makes it more fun, I think, as well. And it's cool to, I see a lot, especially in social media, you see women and girls wanting to pursue this, and it's super fun to show, or be one of the women, right, to show that it is possible and that we can absolutely do it, right? So I just think it's a positive, seeing a positive change for sure.
Yes, that's cool. I rock climb in Brazil, and it is a male sport as well. And I hope that I can do all those mountains you have done. So see woman like you as inspiration is really nice for me and for lots of women out there who want to try something else in mountaineer or active anything else, right? So it's very nice. And thank you for all your compliments in this sport. And
thank you. No, it's actually, for me, like, it's so humbling to see I've gotten so much support, and also seeing, so many who want to try and pursue this in one way or the other. Not everyone wants to do 8,000-meter mountains, but any type of mountain, and to see there's so many who wants to try. It's really, really, really cool, and hopefully be able to inspire some or help someone, how to find out how to start and these things.
Yes, you are doing that already. And I am inspired by you, so you are doing. And we'll be back with more of Outdoors People right after these messages.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "Well, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutubaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on The Camping Show.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground View's virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sites, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground Campground View's virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
We're one big family, a community of paddlers, and we want to make sure that everyone has a great time out on the water.
We are made right here in Sparta, Tennessee, USA.
This is where every Jackson kayak is born, built by hand with a focus on innovation.
We are Jackson Kayak.
We are
Jackson Kayak.
We're Jackson Kayak.
We are Jackson Kayak.
Hey, we're back with Anne Faerovig. Anne, quick question for you. What type of skill set here is involved with some serious mountaineering? What kind of skills do you have to bring to the table?
Well, you have obviously, crampon technique, self-arrest, to mention a couple. I think though.
And you mentioned skiing before too, didn't you? And you were a skier as well, right?
Well, I'm just a Norwegian.
Do right.
So we ski.
You're born with skis, right? Yeah.
I'm just a regular skier, but I do a few different kinds of skiing.
Okay.
That's what we do.
That's what you do. You're born with ski poles in your hands, right?
Basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Basically. Well, if we talk about the big mountains, I think, you have to have a basic technique, right, within a few things. However, I think what's the most important is, physical and mental strength. Everything you can learn, but I think mental strength is maybe the hardest to kind of train for. Because
there's no training, right?
Exactly, you don't know what you will meet on the mountain, and the environment is completely different from where you train, right? Because you are at extreme altitudes, things happen. So I think that's something that comes over time, but also something to be aware of. I think to know how you are yourself mentally, like how do you react in situations.
And were you a climber before? Did you rock climb? None of that. No, you didn't have any of that going in. Okay. No. Would that have helped you if you had, you think? Yeah,
for sure. The more you know, the better off you are.
Yeah.
You can never learn enough or have too much experience.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, did you do a lot of camping before you went and did stuff like that, or was that kind of in your no?
But I did,
I'm thinking, man, you really went out on this. No, I'm going to do this. Don't care.
But I think
what you've accomplished is amazing. Yeah.
Yes, like you haven't never tried anything else, and then I'm going to the biggest mountain.
Yeah, the K2. Right. I mean, wow. I just throw her in the deep end. I'm not sure if she can swim, but it'll be fine. She'll be fine.
Wow. But I think having, experience from being in nature from basically from before I could walk, right? Has a big impact on how I experience the mountains and how I learn on the mountain. I think it's not like I was inside my whole life and then all of a sudden decided. Sure. So I think even though I didn't climb or I didn't go to extreme altitudes, I have that background with me, which I know, having experience from ice and snow and super cold weather, bad weather, trekking, right?
Yeah.
It's something that's embedded in who I am as a person. But then, yes, the extreme mountains and the extreme altitude was something that I first experienced last year.
The
Yeah.
altitude would be huge. I mean, that's something that you can't get that anywhere else except when you're up
Sure.
there.
Yeah,
You can't train for that anywhere else, right? Except
no.
yeah. Wow.
It's possible to do altitude training, but it doesn't simulate how you actually feel on that altitude. And also, I think when you're up, say about 7,000 meters, you feel extremely far away from the world, and you realize how far away from everything you are, right? Which mentally it's
Scary.
it can be very scary. And that's something you can't train for. It's something you only will know once you're actually there.
Wow.
Yes. You never know if you are ready until you are there.
Yeah.
And there is no turning back.
No.
Bring in the choppers. Get me out of here. Right?
Nope.
But that's the beauty of the mountaineering, right? So that's good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I have a question. Give us an idea of the type of extremes you have encountered on mountaineering adventures.
I think I have had 2 times experiences that have been quite extreme. The first was in Pakistan. Before K2, we were on we were doing rotations on Broad Peak, which is another 8,000 meter mountain just next to K2. And then we had one day where the weather just turned and got really bad, so we had to go down. It was the first time for me in a big mountain that I experienced this weather, and it for sure humbles you, and you realize this is these mountains are serious stuff.
Real deal. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
imagine.
it takes all your respect and then some.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then in Manaslu in the past fall, it was an extreme season where there were many avalanches going. And the last time we were up in Camp 3, there was one going below in Camp 2 and one going above. And it was just feeling like, the mountain was just crumbling around you.
Whoa.
And it was just in general very unsafe. And I think even though I was not in an avalanche, you just realize again, the powers that are around you. And I think it's scary, but you really learn from those situations, and you bring it with you, going forward.
Was that the most dangerous situation you've ever been in, you think, or was there something else that was worse?
No, I think that was it. I think
One worse than that? Come on.
I'm curious. I'm a curious farm boy. I gotta ask you, but the thing is, that was probably the worst thing you've been through, right?
Yeah, it was just a season of constant avalanches going, and there were some deaths, unfortunately, not within my team, but there were a few from one of the avalanches, and then after also in another one. And you just, even though you're not in them, you just realize that the mountain in itself is not safe. And it ended up being so that most teams aborted the season because it just wasn't safe to the climb. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. And that was about the K2 expedition. That's I want to hear.
Wow, it's a big
big
question.
Big one.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think truly for me, it was one of the most amazing things I've ever gotten to experience. One thing that's very special about K2, it's in Pakistan, and it's very, very remote. So you trek for about 8-9 days just to get to base camp. And throughout the trek, there is nothing. You camp all the way. And I think during the trek going in, you start to realize how remote this place is and how far away, if anything is to happen, you're extremely far away. And also they don't have as much helicopter rescue as in Nepal. They have quite a good system they don't have there. So
That's a little scary.
it
You know,
makes
it's like
it
there is no
makes you
rescue
think.
program here for me.
Yeah.
You need to
So
survive.
yeah. No, you realize we had a couple of people that we know had to wait for days for rescue.
Oh wow.
And you just realize that, you know, this is getting serious, you know, the farther, you know, into the wilderness there you go. And also I think it's a very special mountain because you see the whole mountain from base camp. You know, it's right there. It's nothing in front, no other mountains hiding it. So you go there week after week, you know, just looking up to this mountain that you're attempting.
That's intimidating, probably a little bit, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is, because it just looks impossible from down there, you know. And I think it's probably the most scary thing I've ever done. I think I was scared most of the time, maybe.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it's incredibly steep, the whole way, more or less. So there are a few parts that you cross and you just think, you know, there is just nothing below me, you know. So it's a little bit looking death in the eye
I
a
would
few
think
times.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that. I'm thinking I
Yeah.
could die here. Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
anytime.
Wow.
Yeah. And you also know it's a dangerous mountain where most people actually have died on the descent. Because it is such a hard mountain. So you're not walking down, you're actually, you know, climbing down. Large parts anyways. So it's in, you know, the back of your mind the whole time. I think going up, I was always thinking, okay, I have to get back down.
I gotta get back down on this mountain.
Yeah.
Well, that's a climb. That's a climb. That's a two-way climb. I mean, I wouldn't call it
Yeah.
a climb, but there's
It's steep.
Wow.
It is a icy climb, right? Like all of there is frozen.
It's a lot of rock on K2,
Okay.
which is another thing because it's quite loose rock. So you have ice, snow, and rock, but you have some very rocky, steep sections, and it's very loose rock. So it means when people climb, also rocks come down. So it's a lot of rock fall, which is maybe the most scary part, because that's something which is without your control. Yeah.
I think it's safe to say you are a rock star.
Totally. And that's so amazing to hear, because it is not that you don't feel afraid. You just know how to handle that in your mind. So that's fantastic. So congratulations.
Thank you. Well, I think it's a learning experience, but for me, I remember I was speaking with a teammate of mine, and she had experience from several other 8,000-meter mountains, and for me it was my first one. So of course, you know, I was curious about what would this be like, but also, you know, concerned at times. And I remember she told me that, you know, we're all going to be scared up there. You know, it's a part of this of doing this. And I think that's very true. And you just have to learn to control it somehow, but you will feel the fear. For sure, many times over, but it's a very rewarding feeling to realize you can control it, you know. as well.
Yes, I think that's so. Sorry, W.
No, you're
Go
fine.
ahead.
Go ahead.
I love so much about that, so I can keep talking and asking. Sorry.
No, I'm
So
just going to ask her. I said, was that one of those nights that that one of those trips where the nights you sit by the campfire and you go, what the hell was I thinking coming up here?
yeah.
Well,
it
there
gotta
is
be.
no campfire.
You don't do any fires on the. Yeah, that's right.
No.
You wouldn't. Oh my gosh, that's right.
There is no
And how do you stay warm? And that's the thing too, is staying warm without a fire of any sort. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Big clothes.
Wow.
A lot of clothes.
Wow. That's all I can say.
And what is beautiful about that, hearing you telling all of your adventures, is that in the same time, you and everyone else, it is in the same page, in the same position, and vulnerable. You also like learn how to be humble and strong at the same time. So that's beautiful. And we are going to a little break. So we will be back with more of Outdoors People right after these messages.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "Well, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutabaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on the camping show.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground Views virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sights, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground Views virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
We're one big family, a community of paddlers, and we want to make sure that everyone has a great time out on the water.
We are made right here in Sparta, Tennessee, USA.
This is where every Jackson kayak is born. Built by hand with a focus on innovation.
We are Jackson Kayak.
We are
Jackson Kayak.
We're Jackson Kayak.
We are Jackson Kayak.
And we're back with our guest, Faerovig. Let's put up those photos, and we got a video in there, I believe, to show. So let's have Anae tell us about what we're looking at here. Ballet.
There we go.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's the two different worlds right there in that picture. I love it,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think I posted this on my Instagram as well, and I think I named it something like "Life's a Journey," and I think I do believe I mentioned previously as well to follow your passions, right?
Yeah.
And also to take opportunities. And I think in life we might have goals and we might have things we want to achieve, but I think also it's important to be open to that this might change along the way, and if we hold too tight onto something or a goal, we might miss out on opportunities that arise along the way. And I think for me, you know, mountaineering, it kind of appeared to me, you know, it was an opportunity that came, and being open to it let me pursue it. Yeah,
that's very good.
Yeah, that's K2, I think Camp 3, 7,200 meter altitude, I think.
And hey, that's a great picture. That's a very cool picture.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful camp, but hard to eat. So I don't know how happy I look.
Well, you could sell tents with this picture, I think, you know, for whatever company is that tent that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You look cold.
Yeah, tired and miserable.
You just look a little chilly.
Camp, I think. I think this is just before we went for a final summit push, a few hours maybe before. Yeah, it's the time we try and rest. That's from Broad Peak, from the first rotation, I think. It's beautiful. This is also Pakistan, right? And the nature, the mountains, it's just incredible, the views. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's just, I think, about 8,000 meters on K2, last part of the summit push. I remember I hadn't taken any picture, I think, throughout. I think here it's about maybe 10 hours into the summit push. And it was just a moment I thought I need to capture this just to remember, you know, because you climb this final part of the summit push a lot in the dark, because we started, I think, 7 o'clock in the evening, and then you climb through the night, and I think I summited around 8 in the morning. I can't remember exactly when. So a lot of the time you climb in the dark, and you don't remember much. It's just hours and hours and hours. And then here, I think I did a couple of video snippets as well from here to just remember what it's like. Yeah, that's summit.
There we go.
Yeah. Not the happiest moment. The happiest moment was when I came back in base camp. I think at this point I was more thinking about I need to get down again. Yeah, that's just to show a bit of the actual steepness of K2. Wow. You have a lot of this, you know, you don't walk up and down here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Days of that. That's crazy. All right, we got some videos, looks like, here, and so we got what, 5 videos? Yeah, let's take a look at the videos.
Okay. So what's happening is that they're now taking oxygen masks that we were carrying and oxygen and go to start a rescue. Hopefully no one's got an avalanche, but you know, I don't think at this point. Rescue. Yeah, so rescue started.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that was the one in Manaslu. It just was a big avalanche higher up on the mountain. It was actually a bad one that I almost forgot this. It was many casualties and a couple of fatalities in that avalanche. So it was just, you know, we didn't see it, and it took a while for me to understand exactly what was happening. But yeah, it was one of those serious moments on the mountain.
Yeah. I can imagine. So, okay. Well,
yeah.
I'm asking Juan. I thought we had some more videos. He said 5. And I
can't remember.
And I'm trying to talk to Juan. I'm like, okay, is he like, what is that? Missing in action. He's 20. No, it's 23, but that's inside. That's inside.
Oh, sorry.
No, he might be. Well, let me in the meantime. Yeah, 23. Let me ask you this. What advice would you give someone who'd like to try mountaineering? Ane?
I think a general advice is maybe hard because it all depends on your background, right? But I think in any case, if you think you want to go to the bigger mountains, just start small. Just basically start spending a lot of time hiking, trekking, do little mountains, little day climbs, just to see, actually, first of all, to see if you like it.
Yeah.
Because you will realize just doing smaller goals, but then gradually go bigger. And I think you can never know too much, never learn too much before you go on to bigger mountains. And it's hard to explain this, but you realize that when you go to the big mountains yourself, that it's not something, I did this fairly quickly, I realized, but it's not something I really promote doing, also because you should enjoy the journey of going there, and the learning process. It's not there is no point in just jumping straight to a big mountain, because you need to know you can be as safe as you can be. You have to trust your own abilities. So I think, the mountains are a lot of fun, but it's also very, very serious.
Yeah, I can tell that. Serious
so
stuff.
I think, doing small goals leading, say you have a big goal in a year or two, even. Just do little goals along the way. It's what I do as well. Just through the last year, in between the mountains, I also have training goals. I set these little stepping stones to get to where I want. And I think also your focus being on those small goals will make you reach your big goal kind of automatically, right? If you just focus on the big goal, it seems unattainable. But going step by step is the way to go.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, babe steps, right?
Yeah.
And where can people go to follow you on social media?
I'm on Instagram on pop-up lens, or they can write my name on a Faerovig, and they will find me there.
Very good. All right. Well, I guess, you know what? We got those videos ready to go on. There's a few more. Let's go ahead and play those, and we're running a little short on time here, so we'll do the videos now. And
Yeah, that was the bad weather in Broad Peak.
Is that the last one? Oh, wow. Those were cool. I mean, they're kind of scary, but they're cool. I totally love those. I wasn't sure that was the last one or not, but that's great. And thank you for sending those in, because those really, picture's worth 1,000 words and a video is worth 1,000,000. So, yeah. I mean, I think it's very cool. Really appreciate. Well, and thank you for being our guest here on Outdoors People. It was an absolute pleasure having you with us and explaining your experience, with adventuring on these climbs, these mountains. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
We'd also like to thank each of our sponsors for bringing you tonight's show. Rutabaga Pedal Sports, Campground Views, Duluth Pack, and Jackson Kayak.
Be sure to tune in for next week's episode, The Thrill of Caving, with our special guest, Kimberly Lughart. Until then, for Maya Marzaki, this is CW Getz saying thanks for tuning in to Outdoors People. See you next week.
Ciao.